Federal failure is a critical issue because the government controls so many aspects of our lives. Federal spending represents more than one-fifth of the nation's. What? This is astounding. Federal spending represents more than one-fifth of the nation's economic output, and federal regulations infiltrate many state, local, and private activities. When the government fails, it can create widespread harm. And now you can see why it is a major issue and cause of nations falling from prominence on the world stage. Left unchecked, our economy will eventually collapse under the weight of these government excesses. But it's not for lack of effort. As I said earlier, politicians have tried to rein in the size of government, as seen in these details again from Edwards' short essay. Many presidents have tried to improve executive branch efficiency. President Theodore Roosevelt appointed the Keep Commission in 1905 to improve federal management. In a message to Congress, Roosevelt said, "There is every reason why our executive government machinery should be at least as well planned, economical, and efficient as the best machinery of the great business organizations, which at present is not the case." The president was expressing progressive era optimism in government, but as we have seen, such optimism is misguided. President William Howard Taft appointed a committee on economy and efficiency in 1910, 5 years later. And then there was President Franklin Roosevelt's Brownlow Commission in the 1930s. President Harry Truman's and President Dwight Eisenhower's Hoover Commissions in the 40s and 50s. President Ronald Reagan's Grace Commission in the 1980s. And Vice President Al Gore's Reinventing Government project in the 1990s. President George W. Bush had a management agenda that examined the effectiveness of programs. And President Barack Obama promised in his 2011 State of the Union address to create a government that's more competent and more efficient. My administration will develop a proposal to merge, consolidate, and reorganize the federal government in a way that best serves the goal of a more competitive America. Despite all these efforts, the performance of the executive branch may be getting worse today, not better. So it's not for lack of trying. It's destined to fail. You just have to look at these things. The recipe for failure in a burgeoning government is basically from an absence of profit, absence of losses, is essentially a monopoly, lacks oversight, massive red tape, and bureaucratic layering, just to name a few. They are held captive by little to no power to downsize staff and outside influences of special interests that hold their attention rather than working for the general public.